Give me what I need, give me what I want this speed.
For one final time in the Bay State, we welcome you to tonight's NESRN coverage of the Samuel Adams Firecracker 400 Race 22 with the 2026 season of the NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series and the final race of the 2026 running of the Duncan Month of Speed in-season tournament. Hi, hello, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a gorgeous summer night backdrop at the Coca-Cola Super Speedway, as once again we welcome you to tonight's Intercast on your home for the NBCS, the North American Sim Racing Network. Live on the NESRN, my name is Trey Wright, and over the course of the past few weeks, we have whittled our field of 32 initial entrants of the Duncan Month of Speed down to just 2, as they look to race each other for 50 bonus points at this high-bank, high-speed behemoth in Concord, Massachusetts. The two drivers fighting each other in this 42-car haystack grid are some of the most legendary names in NR2003 offline, and two names that this season of NBCS competition have certainly jumped off the page over the course of the first 21 races. Beginning with the lower-seeded entrant, the number 4 of Unionville, New York's own Eric Monaco. Coming into the tournament as the 13th overall seed after his win at the Pocono Raceway, Monaco has 3 top 10 finishes in the last 4 races completed, the lone outlier of those races being a 22nd place result at the Papyrus Motorsports Park. Of those 3 top 10 finishes, 2 of them were top 5s, including a 3rd place run, most recently on Thursday afternoon at the Boston International Speedway, and his results have been more than enough to knock out drivers like Brennan Wilmington, Bradley Ream, Danny Fallington, and number 1 overall seeded driver Alex Sanvitale out of the bracket en route to his first Duncan Month of Speed Finals appearance after being bounced in the first round in 2025. Monaco rolls his cell phone number 4 Pennzoil Chevrolet Monte Carlo for Chevy Power Racing from the 22nd position on the grid this evening. Squaring off in the opposite corner is a driver that needs zero introduction, the 99 of Australia's own Zachary Fitzwater. Coming into the tournament as the 3rd overall seed after his 2 wins in 2026 to that point, Fitzwater started off the in-season tournament with a bang, winning the opening round under the lights of Hillside for his 3rd win of the season. Since that race win, however, things have been very shaky for the 99 team to get to this point, with no finish better than 21st over the past 3 races, but luckily taking advantage of his competition having issues to even year Logano his way into the Duncan Month of Speed Finals. Knocking out teammate Nathan Stapleton, both Dracoan racing cars of Logan Alexander and Owen Miles, and Cinderella story Alex Lozano en route to his first Duncan Month of Speed Finals appearance after not even making the tournament in 2025. Fitzwater rolls his number 99 Krispy Kreme Ford Fusion for NS Racing from the 27th position on the grid tonight. As we take a break from the Duncan Month of Speed talk and we talk about the big picture here in 2026, post-race tonight at Coca-Cola marks the 2nd benchmark of the season for the Chase Outlook, with only 5 races remaining in the regular season after tonight. And after the finishing order was shaken up in Boston for the Craftsman 500, things have certainly changed a little bit in the point standings. Alex Sanvitale still remains as the points leader, but he has a nearly full race's worth of points lead over the 90 of Bryce Egan, as he and Dano Georgi swap spots on the pylon, with Zachary Fitzwater still remaining in 3rd, Dano Georgi falling down to the 4th spot, and Alexander Rowe rounding out the top 5. Alex Sanvitale, with 6 races remaining in the regular season and a 4th place starting position tonight in that 96 Camry, looks to be the absolute favorite to win the regular season championship, as he was very close to doing the same feat back in his rookie seasons 2 seasons ago. Unfortunately then, he was not able to put things together. Could 2026, his junior year, be the year that he turns that around? We've got 6 races to try and figure things out here. He starts well tonight in the 4th spot on the outside of row number 2. You'll look at the bottom end of the top 10 in the standings, however. Matthew Hubert remains in 6th. Eric Monaco, with the amount of bonus points that 4 car has received so far over the course of this tournament, is up 4 spots. He is inside the top 10 for the first time in 2026. Daniel Bouchard, Danny Fallington, and Logan Williams, the 17 car, after a solid top 10 finish at Boston on Thursday, is back inside the top 10, hanging on by a mere 30-odd points over the 63 of Corey Case, the first driver on the outside looking in of the chase grid. Taking a look at our wildcard drivers, Brennan Wilmington holds firm in 16th for the time being. But now Keegan Thompson falls down to the number 1 wildcard spot after being inside the top 10 for the majority of the season for that 14 car. He's in a little bit of danger, but you got guys like Corey Case and Thomas Troxel, like we're talking about, looking to make their way into the top 10, but both of them would likely need wins if they want to have a relatively decent chance of making this chase grid. Igor Barreto fell down 6 spots after a horrible day at Boston on Thursday. Same thing with Reggie Fogelman, and they are relatively out of the picture for now, but still a 6-pack of races remain here before we take the top 10 in points and 2 wildcard drivers to see who will become the 6th ever champion in NBCS history. But when it comes to superspeedway racing in the NBCS, you take the stats, previous results, figures, and storylines, strap it to a firework, douse it in kerosene, light it, and drink a Busch Light as you watch it explode. Every single driver has a shot to win here tonight at Coca-Cola, but the key to finishing first is first finishing. Case in point were the last few days of racing up in the Finger Lakes at Watkins Glen International for the FMGTC, where we not only saw both Duncan Month of Speed finalists of Eric Monaco and Zachary Fitzwater wreck from the race lead in GT Le Mans, but others as well throughout the course of 3 wild races up in the Finger Lakes. There is no bus stop of doom here at Coca-Cola, but running at speeds of over 240 miles an hour with speedway physics on a track like this under the lights with the amount of grip that we've got here tonight, it really makes us thankful that this is a video game, and if we see anybody go hard into the outside wall, go into the attenuator tow car style, we thank our lucky stars that nobody truly gets hurt, but one wrong move can spell the end of your night at the snap of a finger. But it's been such a fun week of racing here on the NASRN, between the FMGTC's doubleheader at Mosport and Watkins Glen this week, the Duncan Month of Speed races we have had, and a great Fuel Grand National race at Chicagoland last Wednesday night. For one final time here in the Bay State of Massachusetts, it's time to turn them on and grid them up as we send things down trackside for the most famous words in motorsports to fire the engines for the final race of the 2026 running of the Duncan Month of Speed, the Samuel Adams Firecracker 400 from Coca-Cola.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
For one final time here in the Bay State, the engines fire to life on the pit lane of the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, the original fictional superspeedway of NR2003. It's the Harlan, Kentucky Colonel of Caleb Rose who will lead the field of the green flag. Won the pole for this race at the very end of qualifying earlier on tonight, and he will be to the inside of the 31 of Campbell Marsh. Defending champion of the Duncan Month of Speed, not partaking here this season. He's still looking for his first ever win for the sophomore driver, trying to get all 3 Titan Fury Dodges into victory lane here in 2026. Another Dodge down to the inside of the 31 machine. The 17 of Logan Williams, the Wisconsinite, is still looking for a win here in 2026. Another winless driver that's on the opposite end of the spectrum, the 96 of Alex Vitale, looking for his 11th top 10 finish of the season. Still looking for that second top 5 finish of the year in that blue Archive Toyota Camry. Dylan Matthews will round out the starting 6 for your 2024 Daytona 500 champion, and rounding out the top 5 is the 5 of Cole Sampson. Back towards the grid. What a week it has been for Owen Miles, and just the last couple of days it has been for Owen Miles. 3 podium finishes, 2 of them coming on the FMGTC, and 2 wins. One of them coming on Thursday afternoon for a most recent NBCS race, and a win yesterday at his home track of Watkins Glen International. He's going to be trying to go for the last to first challenge here tonight, starting from shotgun on the grid in 42nd. But the good news for him, he has got a long way to get there. 34 laps going on the pylon here tonight at Coca-Cola. For 400 miles at this track. Take a look at some of the previous winners here. They really jump off the page. Drivers like Brandon Wilmington, Ryan Durrani, Eric Monaco, one of the Duncan Month of Speed finalists, and John Andrews, as well as Cameron Garlington, the 5 drivers that have gone to victory lane here before. But Caleb Rose will lead the field through the Reese's restart zone. Green flag is out and away. Let's go racing a Coca-Cola for one final time in the Duncan Month of Speed. We said we wanted the best. You've got them just about 4 abreast. An aggressive move early into turn number 1 for the 17 of Logan Williams will put that Hershey's Dodge Charger at the point. Way up the racetrack, up into lightning goes Alex Sanvitale. He is way wide off for the corner. He nearly got hooked by the 31. That was close, right coming off turn number 4. Everybody scatters like ants out of that 4th corner. And the points leader, who has an incredible cushion to work with, into the outside wall already here on lap number 1 of the night. Not even 3 miles into the race, we got another car on the outside wall. It's Dylan Matthews and Alexander Rowe. We know how sketchy things can get here, especially on the outside and down to the inside. What a moment there for Zachary Fitzwater in the 99. He's able to save that 99 machine on the low side of 4 wide, and all the way up the racetrack goes the 5. Cole Sampson just about getting into the wall. He'll keep things off the wall for now. He was going to go into the outside wall. Once again, everybody scattering back down to the inside. Meanwhile, back at the front, Eric Monaco already moving his way up through the grid. He started this race in 22nd. He has made his way up to 4th in the span of only 6 miles. He's going for 3rd. More cars in the outside wall. Couldn't tell who that is. They're still skittering on the back. It's Ryan Durrani. He won this race back in 2023. He's got a lot of damage. He'll go to the boondocks, but will remain green. What a start for both of the Duncan Month of Speed drivers. Zachary Fitzwater making his way up inside the top 15 already. Eric Monaco up into 2nd. He gets around the pole sitter of the 32 of Caleb Rose. He's going to be trapped on the outside by Daniel Bouchard, and everybody trying to find a way around Logan Williams in that 17 machine. And only 9 miles have been completed of the 400 here at Coca-Cola, and we are just getting started here in Concord. Monaco down low. Here he comes for the race lead. Side by side as Mateus Bento, and you got Bryce Egan up into the outside wall. Take a look down the back straightaway, Cam, and already we've had a couple of drivers lose touch of the back end of the pack. That is not unusual here at Coca-Cola, especially given just how wide everybody runs up the track. You were looking for any sort of grip and a little too high up the track, nearly up into the 23. Nathan Stapleton did get into Matthew Huber. Both those cars partially around off the 4th corner. And somehow, we've kept things relatively calm. You know what? I don't even want to say that. We have not kept things calm for the opening 5 laps. It has been nothing but chaos, more and more drivers in the outside wall. And that's really going to be the name of the game, keeping your car off the wall here tonight. We have seen that so much here at Coca-Cola in the past, and unlike us, we're going to go 4 wide for the race lead, Daniel Bouchard. Looking down low and up high, Logan Williams. Is he going to get up in the marbles there on the outside? He is going to get in the loose stuff. Way to the back goes the 17. He nearly got run over by Esteban Lacer. He makes contact with Danny Fallington. And if you run up high here at Coca-Cola, you are going to run into some issues, and he will fall way back in the 17 to outside the top 20, potentially. Bradley Ream now in the outside wall as well. So unlike what we were seeing at Watkins Glen, we are seeing drivers have issues with a particular section of the track as Ream nearly gets run over by his fellow Chevrolet teammate of Riley Sampson. Caleb Rose also getting up in the loose stuff. Same thing with Michael Lewis. Just able to keep it off the wall for now. It's going to be tight with Carson Miller down on the low side. And meanwhile, back at the front, it's Eric Monaco who will lead at the stripe. Don't look now. Zachary Fitzwater is a-coming in that 99. We're on board with the Australian as Bouchard moves to the low side of Monaco. Remember, whoever finishes the highest of this duo will win the Duncan Month of Speed. And with that comes 50 bonus points. Like we talked about, it doesn't take long for these guys to find one another. And of course, Eric Monaco, the all-time winningest driver on the NASRN. Zachary Fitzwater, the all-time winningest driver in NR2003 offline. They run 1st and 3rd. They're about to be 1-2 on the track as Daniel Bouchard goes up high. Here comes Fitzwater, right behind the 4 of Monaco, getting a good run off the back end of that Pennzoil Chevrolet. And it's hard to believe that we haven't even been through stage number 1. We've just got about 5 wide. We talked about Owen Miles making his way up. We got more cars. We got Danny Fallington and Sarah Taylor, both scraping, riding, bumping, grinding the lightning out of turn 2. All the way down to the low side, making invasive maneuvers is Riley Sampson, and now we're starting to see a parade of cars that have all gotten into the rough stop, making their way back towards the field, and it has just been an absolute bar fight up inside the top 10. If you ever want stage points, you're going to try and get them here. 2 laps to go in stage number 1 of the night. Stages ending on laps 10 and 20, so they go 10, 10, 14 here this evening. Talked about Owen Miles starting in 42nd, already inside the top 15. He might be inside the top 10 or even the top 5 by the end of this lap. 11th that last time by. Brennan Wilmington just catches the quarter panel in the 62, and same thing with Roberto Crown Jr. And the more and more of these drivers as Cole Sampson down the pit lane. He had to come down in the 5, and he has currently scored 1 lap down. Same thing with the 75 of Dylan Matthews. So those drivers running into issues here after having to repair some damage earlier on after getting into the outside wall. Right now, I believe Cole Sampson will be the lucky dog as Matthews just coming off of the racetrack. Final lap in stage number 1, and I'm very surprised we have gone throughout this race without getting a yellow flag just yet. Right now, Monaco, Diacomo, Fitzwater, your top 3, into the outside wall, and nearly getting cold clocked by the 10 of Carson Miller was Daniel Bouchard. He's going to fall back outside the top 10. How about Caleb Rose? Got in the outside wall earlier on in this race. He's to the inside of Owen Miles, not going to quite get there in time. And meanwhile, for the race lead, you cannot stop this driver. Bruno Diacomo in the 79 comes off turn 4 with a green and checker waving in the air. It's going to be a 3-way battle for second. Bruno Diacomo wins stage number 1. Zachary Fitzwater just edging out Eric Monaco for second place in stage 1. And at the line, it's absolutely God's guess of who finished 3rd through 10th. I believe 10th was Caleb Rose by only a couple hundredths of a second as they fly off down the back straightaway for the 11th time tonight. Diacomo just 1 spot away on Thursday afternoon from getting his first career win. Story of how he got back in this ride has really been the story of the season so far, as we've got 4, just about 5 wide. Russell Blaze in the outside wall, and we nearly had 5 wide turn into accordion down the front straightaway as Dano Georgi is starting to make his way north. But it's also been a very turbulent week for this 12th car as well. 2 poles in the FMGTC, wrecked out in both races, wrecked out of the race proper at Mosport, after being wrecked by Russell Blaze, ironically. And then was caught up in an early wreck at Watkins Glen, rallied back for an 8th place finish in GT Le Mans after winning the pole position for that contest. And here he is leading the way at Coca-Cola. Still a lot of time to go in this race. We are very far from even the halfway point. We've got 22 laps to go this next time by. So it is still anybody's race at this point. But it's good to see another Australian driver out on point. Same thing with Zachary Fitzwater, who for the first time tonight has gotten around Eric Monaco the way they run. Fitzwater would be the Duncan Month of Speed champion. It is one of the few things he doesn't have as an offline driver. It's Carson Miller high into the outside wall. Russell Blaze nearly taking him out. It's also been a pretty rough week for Carson Miller as well. A lot of bench sheet metal on his 711 Mustang. Both races at both Mosport, and as he was wrecked out, racing for the lead along with Nathan Buchanan now into the inside wall. Hard, 2 cars in the inside wall. It's Wyatt Walker, Roberto Crown Jr., and Crown Jr. hits the attenuator. He goes flying. The caution flag does as well. And Walker will finally slide to a stop right in front of Sarah Taylor's pit box. We knew they couldn't do it for long, and the rookie and the semi-veteran of 4 seasons, both going head-on into the wall out of turn 4. And for Roberto Crown Jr., who has mixed memories here at Coca-Cola. You go back to a couple of days after Christmas, or before Christmas, where he won the Loves American Truck Series championship here. similar circumstances are going to prevail instead of winning the race, instead of winning a championship after wrecking. He is just simply going to wreck out here. Cole Sampson will get the free pass. We're under our caution flag for the opening time tonight. Eric Monaco led them back to the stripe. We'll see these drivers come down the pit lane, and this is perfect for these guys because they were approaching the window in about 12 or so laps. To have it to come down the pit lane here, they can do about 24 to 26 laps. We'll get 20 laps to go this next time around. So I imagine we are going to get plenty of takers. We've got a couple of guys staying out. So Toby Murphy is going to stay out to try and get some bonus points in the 38 car. Very surprised about that strategy, but Eric Monaco down the pit lane. Pit stall right past the start-finish line here at Coca-Cola. We'll see where he'll get out in relation to Zachary Fitzwater with 4 fresh Hoosier tires going all the way around that Pennzoil Monte Carlo. Go back to Fitzwater, taking 4 tires as well in that Krispy Kreme Ford Fusion, Ford versus Chevy, and a timeless rivalry being on display here tonight, and a pretty good pit stop for Fitzwater. Not a good pit stop for Rogel Dorn. He ran into Michael Lewis. Dorn just trying to get away from that 54. I believe that's going to result in a teleportation back to the pit stall. That's a tough break for both drivers. I think for Michael Lewis, it's going to result in at least a 1-lap penalty there for the 27. Those two getting on the pit wall there. And for Michael Lewis, it looks like he's going to get some major damage as well. Roberto Crown Jr., only car knocked out of the race. I imagine Wyatt Walker will also be knocked out, with the entire front end of that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet completely destroyed. Only 1 car staying out during that sequence. That was the 38 of Toby Murphy. Deciding to roll the dice, even though you're going to have to come down the pit lane in 6 laps or so, and I don't get that strategy. Maybe you come down this next time by. But we're going to get this race restarted here in just a few moments, as we'll take things back here to the caution, or we'll take things back. So what's going to happen here after caution number 1 here at Coca-Cola? So they were just about 6 wide, as Roberto Crown Jr., running in 21st at the time, is just going to go up the track and clip the 19 of Wyatt Walker, and spinning both of those cars down to the inside. They both catch air and hard head-on into that inside wall. Second wild crash that Wyatt Walker has been a part of here this week, as he got T-boned at the Boston International Speedway on Thursday. But as Roberto Crown Jr., he goes driver's side into the attenuator. Thankfully, this is a video game like we were talking about, and he was able to avoid serious injury as he was able to climb out of that car. We saw Wyatt Walker. He's just sliding down the pit lane about maybe a 1/5 of the way down through the pit area. That's how fast these guys were going. And you can see the 21 teleporting back to his pit stall, with Walker still coming to a stop right in front of that 45's pit box. A gruesome accident to put us under the caution flag for the opening time tonight, but it was pretty inevitable with just how aggressive these guys were running. And for Roberto Crown Jr., his up-and-down relationship with the Coca-Cola Superspeedway will add another chapter to the books. A 2025 Loves American Truck Series champion will end up the same way he ended up in that championship race, on a wrecker here at Coca-Cola. Here's Wyatt Walker's perspective on what happened here to bring out the opening caution of the night. You can see they were just about 6 wide off the corner. And a head-on shot right into the pit wall for that 19 car, and you could hear in the background the 21 of Roberto Crown Jr. hitting the pit wall. Tough rookie season it's been for Wyatt Walker and this 19 team. They're going to wreck yet another race car for the rookie. He and Roberto Crown Jr. out of the Sam Adams Firecracker 400 early on here at Coca-Cola. And we'll get the other vantage point of this 2-car accident as Roberto Crown Jr. making things aggressive onto the low side. Contact with the 19. Into the wall they go. And into the pit wall. Some heavy, heavy shots for that Beyblade X21, and You can see Wyatt Walker come to a screeching halt right in front of him as well. And Love's American Truck Series defending champion will end up on a wrecker once again here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And initially looking at the wide angle of this crash, they were just about ready to go 6 wide as a 21 caught the 19. Head on into the inside wall, go those 2 Chevrolets, and that 21 car just flying up into the air hard. And there's something a little bit humorous from an objective standpoint about Wyatt Walker's destroyed Chevrolet sliding into the DMs right in front of that 21 pit box. But we're under the caution flag for the first time here, 13 laps in the books at Coca-Cola. And everybody besides Toby Murphy coming down the pit lane. Murphy is going to have to make it, or is not going to be able to make it to the end of this race without coming down the pit lane. We'll see what he can do on the restart, but everybody behind him, 4 fresh Hoosier tires, gas tanks full of octane racing fuel. We'll see what these guys and gals can do on the restart, approaching the midway point through the Sam Adams Firecracker 400 here at Coca-Cola. And we return to the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, cleaning up caution number 1 of the evening, an extended caution flag after the pit road attenuator had to be fixed. In all reality, that's NR2003, been NR2003. But 2 cars knocked out of the race after that 2-car spin off of turn 4. Obviously, Roberto Crown Jr. and Wyatt Walker have bit the dust in this race. Like we were talking about pre-race, we thank our lucky stars that this is just a video game, and of course, Roberto Crown Jr. able to theoretically walk away from that crash. But this is going to get interesting. Everybody came down the pit lane besides Toby Murphy in the 38. He is the one car that still needs to come down the pit lane here as we're back under the green flag at exactly the halfway point. 17 up, 17 down. And Murphy, Monaco, Diacomo, Fitzwater, and Lassay are your top 5 going back through the gears. Michael Lewis and Rogel Dorn just now coming off of the pit lane. Been an up and down week for Rogel Dorn, and I don't think Michael Lewis wants to talk about the last 24 hours as well in this 54 car for both the FMGTC and the Mission BBQ Cup Series. It's 2.5 laps away from the Stage 2 end, and we are 4 wide for second as Eric Monaco. He might be going the wrong direction. He's going way up in the marbles. Get out of there, Eric. He's not going to listen to me. Up into the outside wall goes the 4, and now Toby Murphy will pull down the pit lane. Fortunately, he does not get railroaded, and here comes the field. Bruno Diacomo is out like a sitting duck in pheasant season, all the way out in front of these drivers. More cars on the outside wall. Somebody else was tap, and it's Reggie Fogelman who will go the wrong direction. Meanwhile, you look at everybody back in here to get a scale of just how deeply this field is packed in. We're going to go on board with Carson Miller for a couple of laps here at Coca-Cola just to show you how crazy things can get. Brandon Perez, he'll go the wrong direction, going bye-bye the 92. Oh, and now, that was close. Igor Barreto out of control. He did get in the quarter panel of the 90. That's how crazy things get here under the lights at Coca-Cola. And Toby Murphy will go a lap down after pitting under the green flag. Bruno Diacomo, however, has not been surpassed as quickly as he thought he would be. Sarah Taylor will get around Carson Miller. Miller currently running midway through the field in the 10 car. But Diacomo now he'll be put on the outside wall. And up in the outside wall once again, it's Caleb Rose and Dano Georgi. Second time tonight the pole setter has got into the fence, and now Alex Lozano. He goes around right in front of Dylan Matthews. Back down the track goes the grid. Matthews, did she hit the attenuator? I thought she did. She did not. That couldn't have been more than a few inches separating the 75 from the attenuator. And Alex Lozano, whose Cinderella run in the Duncan Month of Speed came to a close on Thursday, spins around off turn 4. The caution flag is out for the second time tonight. And that will end stage number 2 under the caution flag. Angel Gutierrez will win the second stage in what has turned into a really crazy race. And that absolutely saved Eric Monaco's bacon after he fell all the way back to 32nd after restarting in the third position. Second position, in fact. Conversely, Zachary Fitzwater came to the start-finish line in second. He will likely restart in second. I don't believe that we're going to get anybody coming back down the pit lane here that can make it to the end, and Gutierrez will lead these drivers back around. We are hearing from the tower that it's just going to be a quickie yellow. If the leaders do not end up coming down, are we going to see drivers coming down? We are going to see drivers coming back down the racetrack looking for the grip. And here comes everybody. And you know what? This might play out right in the favor of Toby Murphy. Actually, he is going to be the wave around along with him, Rogel Dorn, and Michael Lewis. They will all get their laps back. And, you know, Murphy is going to have only 1 lap older tires than everybody else. It doesn't matter. He's actually going to have the freshest tires of everybody else. It's just a gas and go for the 18 and pretty much everybody out on track. Angel Gutierrez will lead things back off. If he doesn't run into Campbell Marsh, that got a little close. And he'll win the race off of the pit lane. Second caution flag out of the night. Angel Gutierrez will lead them back around here at Coca-Cola. We'll take a look and see what happened and put out the second caution of the night here in the Samuel Adams Firecracker 400. So this whole incident got started when Dano Georgi, second race in a row that he is going to bring out a caution flag thanks to something going wrong on that 34, and he is going to ride the Lightning all the way on the outside through turns 3 and 4. You're going to watch this FedEx 11 car of Alex Lozano, who was bounced out of the Duncan Month of Speed on Thursday, run right up on the back end of the 34. He's trying to get down to the low side, but they're going to bottleneck coming off of the corner, and up into the outside wall goes Lozano. Braking sideways, just catches the left front fender of that 34 Dodge. Nowhere for Dylan Matthews to go. She goes down to the inside, and somehow only 3 cars were involved in this crash as everybody making their way towards the attenuator. And Dylan Matthews, you see at the bottom part of your screen, just barely missing that. And fortunately for Alex Lozano, he just glanced off the end of the attenuator. But my goodness, that looked like that we were going to have another wholly dramatic crash here at Coca-Cola with Dylan Matthews plowing headfirst into the wall, but fortunately it's just some front-end damage on the 75 from hitting the back end of the 11, and she will remain in the race. Nobody's going to get knocked out from this crash, but that's going to set up a late race restart here with about 10 to 12 laps to go. We'll get a couple more looks at this crash, and then we'll get you back to the restart here, approaching the very end of what has been a fantastic race so far here at Coca-Cola. It's been a little bit of a rough week for Alex Lozano so far in this 11 car. You're on board for the Brook Boys Garage FedEx Toyota. Catching Georgi at the worst possible time. Just glances off of the wall. And he will remain in the race, but his quest for his first win of the season, his first win since Talladega from 2025, out in a shower of sparks here tonight at Coca-Cola. And once again, looking for the vantage point of Dylan Matthews, caught up in her second crash. There's a little piece sliding into the pit lane and nearly head on into that massive pit wall, and that would have made Roberto Crown Jr.'s crash look like a cupcake tea party of some sorts. But tough race for Dylan Matthews, who started on the outside of row number 2. She is going to be knocked out of contention here tonight. They did rip the hood off of that Hers Brands Toyota Camry. Much like Alex Lozano, her chances of getting her first win since a win on a super speedway a couple years ago in the Daytona 500 up in smoke and in a pile of crumpled sheet metal. And we'll follow things here in the wide view angle of this crash as Alex Lozano runs up on the 34. Down the front straightaway they go, and just look at how close Dylan Matthews came to hitting the pit wall there, and tough break for both of those drivers, as well as Dano Georgi, who was able to get away with only some damage to the side of that 34 machine. But we're going to have 11 laps to go to get to the end of this race, and Angel Gutierrez winning stage number 2 under the caution flag here at Coca-Cola. See what he can do on the restart is down to the nitty-gritty. Down to the final 11 laps here in the final race of the Duncan Month of Speed. Zachary Fitzwater currently way ahead of Eric Monaco after that sequence. We'll see what these guys can do for the next 11 laps here on the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. We return to the Coca-Cola Super Speedway, cleaning up caution number 2 of the night, and we'll get this race restarted with 11 laps to go here in the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. Angel Gutierrez will lead them back through the gears. And a little bit of damage on Esteban Leclerc. He ran in the back of some driver on the pit lane. I believe it may have been Brendan Wilmington. Don't see any damage on the 62. But incredibly, nobody was knocked out from that crash. Dylan Matthews is 1 lap down. She and Nathan Stapleton, the 2 drivers that are off of the lead lap. 40 cars remain on track. 38 of them are on the lead lap. Gutierrez, Riley Sampson, Zachary Fitzwater, Bruno Giacomo, and Brendan Wilmington, your top 5. Let's go back through the gearbox once again here with 11 laps to go. And a relatively good start for Gutierrez, but once again, everybody pointing their way to the inside, and Zachary Fitzwater wants the race lead. If I'm Fitzwater, and I think Bradley Ream can also tell the tale in that 40 car, you don't want to make your move too early and end up in the outside wall. Just ask Eric Monaco how that has gone for the 4 car. And he is going to start relatively deep, and he's already a man on a mission, already picking up 2 spots since we restarted this race. He's got a lot of time to go and a lot of time for Zachary Fitzwater to start making a mistake. Meanwhile, Esteban Leclerc dropping back immensely with that front end damage in the 64. He could be a moving chicane for these drivers. All 10 digits displayed from the flag stand. 10 laps remain in the final round of the Duncan Month of Speed. Riley Sampson looking for his 2nd win of the tournament. Bruno Giacomo up on the high side. He's getting really close to Ryan of the Lightning on the outside. He'll keep things off the wall for now. Fitzwater right behind his fellow countrymen, and you've got the Canadian, the Albertan of Keegan Thompson. Thompson looking for win number 2 of the season. Again, you look all throughout this pack. You got Riley Sampson, Keegan Thompson, Corey Case in desperate need of a win. Danny Fallington would love to get a 2nd win this season. Drivers that are in desperate need of trying to get a win. Same thing, Mateus Bento. A 2nd win here tonight would do dividends for that 71 team, down 21st in the point standings. Zachary Fitzwater wants his 4th win of the season and 2nd win of the tournament. He'll stay right behind his fellow Australian, Riley Sampson. Sampson with his team owner 2 cars away from him. 8.5 laps to go. Brennan Wilmington looking for win number 3 of the season. That would ultimately solidify him as the first wildcard spot if he's able to get a 3rd win. Keegan Thompson wants to completely blow the door wide open on this championship battle. And they're going to catch up to lap traffic. Rogel Dorn in the way. Alex Lozano, Dylan Matthews are also going to be in the way as well. Dorn did not get a good jump off the restart. And where does that WeatherTech 27 car go? To the inside goes Riley Sampson. He is looking to swap spots with Fitzwater. Fitzy on the high groove. Up the racetrack goes Wilmington. Mateus Bento will go down low. Can't count out a lot of guys down here as well. Guys like Charlie Davenport, oh so close on the super speedways in the past. Still looking for that first career oval win. Angel Gutierrez looking to put Mao Racing in victory lane for the first time in their existence. Bruno Giacomo looking for his long-awaited first win, as is Campbell Marsh. And everybody will move along the low side around the 27 of Dorn. Fitzwater will remain out front. Meanwhile, Eric Monaco still deep in the back in the 4 car. One of the many cars that has been caught are behind the 64 of Leclerc. Everybody moving down to the inside of that 27 car. Riley Sampson way up the track. He doesn't have a whole lot of grip. He's able to hold it off the wall for now. And Zachary Fitzwater might be moving the wrong direction too. Again, if Fitzwater gets into the outside wall, he very well could here. He's on the outside of 4 wide. As 99 gets into the wall, this Duncan Month of Speed is going to get very interesting. I think he's going to get into the wall. He might get into the wall. Just tapping it. Just tapping it. He is going to hit the wall. He nearly ricocheted down to the 24. That's going to be a lot of momentum lost for that 99 car. And Eric Monaco seeing this as his opportunity, looking to strike, but he lost a couple of positions as well. Fitzwater Again, it's an even year. He's been kind of even year Loganoing his way through this tournament. And what can he do to try and hold on? He's going to fall way outside of the top 10. And the battle is on with 5.5 laps to go at Coca-Cola. It is still anybody's race. You know who I'm going with? I'm going with Owen Miles. It has been his week that the racing gods have been smiling down on that 05 car. He started in the back, and he's going to make his way up to the front. Owen Miles, he is my pick to end up winning this race in 16th that last time by. Making his way through, but the amount of storylines, we talked about it. Keegan Thompson looking to blow up the chase grid. Bruno Giacomo looking to get a win. Charlie Davenport looking to get a win on an oval. It's been a long time for Davenport. It has been a long time for Giacomo. Corey Case, another driver in desperate need of a win. Mateus Bento, even Matthew Hubert, who just barely, he is remaining in 6th in the point standings, has been really decent so far in that 23. Bento's going to smidge into the outside wall a little bit, holding up the outside lane. A guy that's in desperate need of a win. Caleb Rose, Russell Blaze, Sarah Taylor, guys back in here whose championship bids might be going away as they get around the lap car of Lozano. Their bids at getting in the chase for the championship have been going the wrong direction, particularly for the pole sitter of Caleb Rose. This race is not far from over, but now we're starting to see the cycling not be as prevalent. 4 laps to go. Zachary Fitzwater has gotten in the outside wall once again, but Eric Monaco is still being held up by lap traffic. Fitzwater is all alone, and Monaco just trying to reach up. Is he going to have enough time? Meanwhile, Keegan Thompson and the 331. Campbell Marsh into the outside wall. That'll break things up a little bit. We had one car down the inside. It's Michael Lewis. Remember, he only came down the pit lane once in the 54. He could not make it to the end with 3 laps to go. Does that beg the question of potential fuel mileage here? We know everybody should be able to make it to the end as lap traffic once again in the way with Dylan Matthews. Oh, and they just catch up right on the 75. Bruno Giacomo nearly rear-ending his own teammate of Matthews. She has had a lot of bent-up race cars this week in the 75, and just trying to get to the end of this one. She's going to hold up Mateus Bento. Bento around the outside of the 75. Owen Miles now being held up, sticks high in the air. 2 laps remain. A really big lead for Riley Sampson. Is it too big of a lead or past the point of no return? So a caution flag now would end the race. Zachary Fitzwater still in a league of his own, but still a league of problems could go wrong for that 99 car. Back at the front, Sampson. About a 5-car length lead over Bruno Giacomo. You got Charlie Davenport trying to reel him in. Michael Lewis might be in the way here with a lap and a half to go. Sampson, a win here tonight. One of the many drivers outside the top 10 with only 1 win on the season, looking for his 2nd win of the Duncan Month of Speed. White flag in the air. The bell sounding loudly at Coca-Cola. A big run for Charlie Davenport as they move under the white flag. Riley Sampson leads them to the white. Will he lead them to the checkered flag? An aggressive block down low for the 24. Back through turns 1 and 2 they go. Sampson, Davenport, Wilmington, Corey Case, and Angel Gutierrez, the top 5. It might be all but over for Bruno Giacomo. Here we are, side by side for the race lead. Charlie Davenport has never won on an oval. And that single car, Davenport Family Performance Ford, trying to chug his way to the front. Sampson blocks the low line once again, loses a little bit of momentum. Can Davenport get him off the final corner? Davenport looking for one final chance. I don't think he's going to get there in time. Off turn 4, 2 wins in the last 4 races. Riley Sampson has nuked the chase grid. He gets his 2nd win of the season, and this changes everything in the wild card. A win at Papyrus on fuel strategy, and a win thanks to some aggressive blocking at Coca-Cola. Riley Sampson, 2nd win of the Bay State. And back here for the Duncan Month of Speed. It was close at the end, but Zachary Fitzwater, the 3rd seed, who won the first race of the tournament, has coasted his way through everything else by another sub-20th place finish. is going to win the Duncan Month of Speed over Eric Monaco, who finishes in 30th. Heartbreaker for both of those drivers. And agony for all the drivers that only have one win outside of the top 10. But for Riley Sampson, he started this race in 39th position. And he is your winner here tonight at Coca-Cola. Charlie Davenport, heartbreaker for the 98. He did everything right, but just couldn't quite get there to the end. I think if they had one more lap, Davenport would have got him. But Riley Sampson gets the job done. Brandon Wilmington, a much-needed third-place finish. A much-needed top-5 finish for Corey Case as well. Second consecutive top-5 finish for Bruno Diacomo in the 79. And he's going to move above Esteban Lucero in the point standings for the first time this season. Matthew Hubert, a much-needed top 10. Angel Gutierrez, Mateus Bento needed a top 10 run here tonight, but with 5 races remaining and only 1 win to his name, that is going to be a tough hill to climb for Mateus Bento over these next 5 races. Russell Blaze and Caleb Rose round out your top 10. Zachary Fitzwater finishes in 22nd. Eric Monaco in 30th. And that's 50 bonus points going to the Australian himself of Zachary Fitzwater. It's not quite going to get him to the points lead. As Alex Sanvitale, he finished somewhere on the track. He was relatively deep in the field. He finished in 27th. Not a great run for him. Not a great run for a lot of guys in the point standings, but Riley Sampson just throwing a grenade into the chase standings here in terms of the wild card. And although, you know, he was only 200 points underneath the cut line, but Corey Case and Logan Williams represent the cut line. Logan Williams finishes in 14th tonight. But my goodness, Coca-Cola never disappoints, and it certainly didn't disappoint here tonight with Riley Sampson getting the job done here for his second win of the Duncan Month of Speed. And, you know, back in the day, back when it was the Duncan Week of Speed, I think we had sweepstake finishes or sweepstakes for when drivers got multiple wins in the Duncan Month of Speed. Unfortunately, that is no such for Riley Sampson, but he does get that second win of the season, which I think at this stage in the game, with only 5 races remaining in the regular season, you will take as much as you can get. And out of tonight, your 2 wildcard drivers outside of the top 10 are going to be Brandon Wilmington and Riley Sampson going into Chicagoland on Saturday night and capping off a wild stretch of races here on the NASRN. But that is going to do it here from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Congratulations once again to Riley Sampson for winning the Samuel Adams Firecracker 400 and to Zachary Fitzwater for winning the 2026 Duncan Month of Speed in-season tournament. Like we've been saying, we're down to the final 5 races of the regular season starting this Saturday night south of the Windy City in Joliet, Illinois. Coverage for the Uno Chicago Grill, the Chicagoland Speedway, gets underway at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time right here on your home for the NBCS, the NASRN. Thank you once again for tuning in to tonight's coverage of the NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series. Here are your point standings and final tournament bracket after race 22 of the 2026 NBCS season. And from Concord, Massachusetts, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see y'all on Saturday in the Windy City.
Yeah.